Today we're going to look at, is your smartphone making you dumb? Right? Who thinks their smartphone is making them dumb? Yeah? Thank you for your honesty. So today we're going to look at, is your smartphone making you dumb? But today I'm going to also show you a dinosaur. Right? Today I'm going to show you an ancient animal. Okay? Do you want to see a dinosaur? But before we see the dinosaur, I want to introduce you to my generation's iPhone. Everybody knows what an iPhone is, right? Now today I'm going to first introduce you to my generation's iPhone, right? That was my generation's iPhone, right? So a little different to the iPhones that you are accustomed to, right? So when I was 16, I got my first phone, right? And so I got it only because I was stuck in hospital. Means that I had pneumonia, and my parents were very protective of me. And so because I had to stay in hospital, even though they came to visit me 3 times a day, still they had to leave a phone with me just to phone me whenever they're not there. You know? Indian parents are like that. Yes? Even though I'm South African, I have some Indian roots, and my parents are very protective. I'm a 16-year-old young man, but still every hour they must phone me. Everything okay? Are you fine? Have you died yet? No? So um, they have to check if everything's alright. And so that's when I got my first phone. Right? So does does anybody know what a Nokia 3310 is? You'll know what the Nokia 3310 is? At that time, that was the greatest phone in existence at that time, the Nokia 3310. And that was my first phone. You know? So we have a similar model of the Nokia 3310 here today. And so now today, this is like 16 years old, right? This is like a dinosaur now, right? The Nokia. Um, would you like to have a look at the dinosaur? So what I'll start it off. I'll start it off from the ladies, and then it can go around and then come back to me. All right. And so when I had the Nokia 3310, um, I remember two very interesting facts about the Nokia 3310. Right. Um, that is a picture of the Nokia 3310. Right. So I remember two things very vividly about the Nokia 3310. Is that one, it had games on it, right? Now your mobile device has games, right? But now you got like SimCity and Tekken and Mortal Kombat and Grand Theft Auto and what? What's that? And you got that, right? So, do you know what game I had on the phone? Yeah, I had Snake Game. I had the Snake Game, no? No, very simple game, right? And so when I came out of hospital, obviously I took the phone to school, and I was the coolest boy in school because I had Snake Game. And we used to wait in line. I would play first, and I would get a score. Then everybody else would try to beat that score, you know? And we got a little bit attached to this phone, just playing the silly Snake Game, right? So that was one thing I remembered about my phone. The second thing I remembered was that what happened when I dropped the phone. When I dropped the Nokia 3310, two things cracked. Two things cracked when I dropped the Nokia 3310. So when I dropped the Nokia 3310, it was in the kitchen. Not just any kitchen, my mother's kitchen, that had very nice imported tiles. So I dropped the phone by accident, it falls, and what cracks? The tile cracked, right? I dropped the Nokia 3310 and the tile cracked. And after I cracked the tile, then what cracked? My head. Because why? My mother hit me with a rolling pin, you know? Because I dropped the Nokia 3310, right? So it's obvious that a lot has changed in terms of the technology, in terms of the types of phones that we use today. And so this is what we're going to look at today, right? That our phones are getting smarter, right? But Phones are getting thinner and smarter, but people are getting fatter and more stupid. No? Yes? We'll look at that, okay? Um, so today, what I would like to teach you is that I'm not here to say take your phone and throw it in the ocean in Goa. I'm not here to say that. But today we're going to learn how to use your phone and not let your phone use you. Does that make sense? How to use your phone and not let your phone use you, okay? And if you're owned by your smartphone, if your phone is using you, then it is making you dumb, okay? So very quick overview of what we'll discuss today. You see, these large corporations, they understand that if they get you addicted to their product, then you'll want to buy it more and more, right? So addiction is money. And in this world, money is the honey, you know? So the more you're addicted to your smartphone, the more they will make money off you, right? So we look at all the psychological tricks that they use to addict you to their product, right? And we'll see how it functions just like a hard drug, just like cocaine or marijuana or alcohol, right? Because in the brain and the cytoplasm of the brain, what happens is that when you're addicted to your smart device, it's the same chemical experience you feel when you take cocaine or alcohol or any hard intoxicant. Right? So we'll look at that. We'll look at how to live a balanced life, how to get a technological detox. Then we'll look at digital dementia or digital dementia. And finally, we'll look at two things. Use your phone, don't be used by your phone, and be careful of weapons of mass distraction. Not destruction, weapons of mass distraction. So today we've mastered the selfie, right? But have we mastered ourselves? So I'd like to tell a story to explain this, right? So everybody knows the Buddha, right? So once upon a time, the Buddha was sitting on the bank of the Ganges, right? And he was deep in meditation. Now, before the Buddha was the Buddha, who was the Buddha? He was Gautama, right? He was a great prince. So he had everything. Is there anything a prince is lacking? So everything materially the prince had, right? So the Buddha had everything. But he gave all of that up to search after self-realization, to meditate like a monk. And so he was sitting with his disciples on the bank of the Ganges. And they were going for days without eating anything. They were drinking a little bit of water once a day only. And so he got very emaciated. He got very thin. You could see his bones. And he was deep in meditation. And as he was deep in meditation, a hunter goes past on a boat. And the hunter is sitting with his son. And he's teaching his son how to hunt. Now, in order to hunt, he requires a bow and arrow. So the hunter is explaining to his son, you take the string and you tie the bow and arrow together. But if the string is too loose, what's going to happen? The arrow won't fly. Now, if the string is too loose, when he pulls back the bow, when he pulls back the arrow, it's not going to go anywhere, right? So he tells his son, you can't make the string too loose. And then he says, you can't make the string too tight. What will happen if the bow is bound too tightly? It'll break, right? If it's bound too tight, it'll snap and break. And so when the Buddha heard this, he had a realization. He had epiphany. And so he realized that what he was doing was, first he had everything and he was just engaged and just enjoying his life. And now he was too austere. He was too renounced. He had to find the middle path. He had to find a life of balance. And so what he did was that he started to live with balance. He started eating enough to take care of the body. He was starting to sleep enough, not too much, not too little. So fundamentally, he started to perform yoga. And yoga is all about balance, right? So what we can learn from the Buddha is how to have balance in our lives. So the phone is a tremendous convenience, correct? You agree? It's a tremendous convenience, right? So we'll learn how to use the phone, but not let the phone use you, right? Because it can steal our intellect. It can steal our relationships with others from our interaction with the world. Right? So there's IQ, an intelligent quotient. Basically, it measures how intelligent you are in terms of acquiring knowledge. Right? It's book knowledge. And then there's something called EQ, emotional quotient. It means to live with empathy. It means to understand how your emotions affect you and affect others, right? It means if somebody is suffering, you don't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're suffering." That's sympathy. Empathy means you try to do something to help that person, right? So we'll see today how the smartphones, if left uncontrolled, are stealing our IQ, they're stealing our cognitive thought, and they're also stealing our EQ, our emotional intelligence, right? And so this is because we're becoming addicted to our cell phones. There's this city in China where they have a special walkway for people who can't take their gaze off their phones. What's happening is that as they're walking into things. They're walking into traffic. They're walking off the bridge. They're walking into bicycles. They're walking into scooties. Because why? They're so addicted that they can't take their gaze off their phone. Have you seen people like this? Maybe you are one of those people that is like that also. You know? That's a possibility. And so once we went to give a discourse similar to this in a corporation in South Africa. And it was a very large business of all chartered accountants. So they're all qualified chartered accountants. And so we go into the company and we are invited by the boss. So open plan office style. So everybody has their own desk, but it's one big room like this. So as I was going in, I walked into the boss's office and he had a glass office so he can see the 40 people that were working there, all chartered accountants. And they range from people that were about late 30s to about the late 60s. And so as I was sitting there waiting to give the discourse, I noticed something interesting, is that everybody had a smartphone. But how they used the smartphone was very different. So the people that were around 30 to about 40, they had their smartphones, but the smartphones, they were sitting down and they had the smartphones right on their PC keyboard. And those that were older, like 45 to 65, they had the smartphones, but it was next to them and the screen was turned down. So they couldn't see any of the notifications that were coming. And so they were working and they were just focused on their work. And like every 10 minutes or so, they would pick up their phone and then they would look at it. But the phone was turned the other way. The younger of the people, what are called millennials, who were grown up with smartphones all their lives. So pretty much you all had a way of smartphones from the time you can crawl, right? It's been something that you'll have become accustomed to, right? And so these other people, they had the smartphones in front of them. So they were typing and then they were looking at the smartphone. And then looking up and typing and then looking at the smartphone. Then looking up and typing and then looking at the smartphone. And I was counting every 10 to 5 seconds. They would go down and then go back to the work. Go down and go back to the work. And they did the research in this company and they found that these people were 30% less productive than the counterparts that had the smartphone one side. And they were suffering from something called digital dementia. So one, they were lacking focus, and in our next slide, we'll see what digital dementia really is, right? And so like that, the smartphone can become a drug, an addiction. When you can't give something up, when you're forced to use it even out of your control, even when you don't want to use it anymore, then you are addicted to something. Right? And so I'd like to ask a question today. How many days can you go without using your smartphone? How many days can you go without using your smartphone? How many hours can you go without using your smartphone? How many minutes can you go without using your... How many seconds can you go without using your smartphone? So we're all intelligent people here, right? Let's do this. For one day, do an experiment. See how attached you are to your smartphone. Take your phone and lock it somewhere. Means lock it in a cupboard, take the key and give it to somebody else. And tell them, only give me the key in 24 hours. And then see how addicted you are to your smartphone. Do that experiment, okay? For yourself, just to see how attached am I to this device, right? So there's a saying, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Right? So we get into a habit of doing things. And the more you perform that habit, the more it affects your mind. The more it affects who you become. Right? The more it defines your future for you. So remember I was saying people that use their smartphones too much, it causes them to be less focused. So they decided to do an experiment on rats, where they simulated what happens when rats get distracted by 3 flashing lights. And so the 3 flashing lights represented your smartphone, your PC, and the television screen. So they had these rats and they would have these flashing lights, and the rats would not focus on how to get out of the maze, but they would focus on these flashing lights. And then they had another group of rats where there were no flashing lights. And they found that the rats that were concentrating on the flashing lights were 50% less intelligent than the rats that were not distracted by these 3 flashing lights, which represented your television screen, your laptop screen, and your smartphone screen. And so it took them 50% longer to get out of the maze that they were trapped in than compared to the other rats, right? That weren't distracted by weapons of mass distraction, right? And so they stopped the flashing lights for 30 days. And even after the 30 days where they stopped the flashing lights, still the cognition of the rats were damaged because of these flashing lights. Because when they were learning how to get out of the maze, they weren't paying attention because half of their focus was somewhere else. So it caused damage within the neural processes within the brain. So neurons that fire together wire together, and it affected their neural passages, basically. Long story, but basically it made them more dumb. Right? And so in psychology, we have a new definition which has recently been introduced, which has only come about through the invention of technology, and especially the smartphone, as we call digital dementia. Digital dementia, right? So digital dementia means that your mind stops functioning as fast as it does or can because of technology, digital applications like phones and laptops and things. So what is happening is that we're outsourcing our intelligence to our devices, right? So it is declining cognitive function due to use of your digital devices. Declining cognitive function means it's making us dumb, right? Because we're outsourcing, we're becoming too reliant on our mobile devices. And I'll give you an example of this, right? About 12 years ago, I went to a restaurant with 10 of my friends, right? So 10 of us go to a restaurant, and after the meal, the bill comes, right? So we have to split the bill. How many ways do we have to split the bill by? So 10. So we have to divide by how many? By 10, right? It's easy to divide by 10, right? And so 7 people at the table, to divide the bill by 10, took out their cell phone. To use the calculator feature to divide the bill by 10. Can you imagine that? And I was also one of those 7 people. You know? I took my phone out to divide the bill by 10. Because why? Because digital dementia. Because we're outsourcing our intelligence to the phone. So it's actually making us dumb. But I'm not saying that it's not useful. We'll look at that also. You know? But we are a society that's becoming addicted to the phone. This is stats of people within the space of 1 hour, the percentage rate at which they look at their phone at different age levels. You know? So if you, between 18 to 34, 68% in a 1 hour period of time, you'll be looking at your phone. This is where society is heading. Where we're walking everywhere, but we're not paying attention to anybody around us, It's all down into our phone, no? How many times have you gone somewhere, maybe a party, maybe if in school if your phones are allowed, or wherever, and you walk into a room and everybody's looking into the phone and not at each other. In the West, if you use public transport, you'll see everybody has their phones, earphones on, and watching a movie. Nobody communicates anymore. So this technology allows us to say more and more, but we're communicating less and less. Because this, which is meant to make us connect to the world, is creating a bigger disconnect for all of us. True or not true? It's true, no? And so the next video explains this very nicely about how it steals, one, it steals our intellect, digital dementia, but two, it steals our humanness also. It's making us slaves to the machine. We're becoming owned by our devices. And the next video shows this very expertly, I think. So does the video make sense? Yes? So what's happening is that our technology, our smartphones and devices, that thing that was designed to help us communicate, to connect with each other, is causing us more to be disconnected from each other. No? It's causing us, these machines are making us machine. No? Because we're not machine. We have hopes and dreams and loves and fears, but we're not communicating it anymore because we're hiding from ourselves behind these devices. They're causing a disconnect between yourself, your friends, your family, and from your own self. No? So what I'm saying is, don't not use these devices, but use them in a very healthy way. Fundamentally, I use a laptop, I use a smartphone. To put this class together, I use so many devices. No? But we'll see how, one, to not be addicted to your device. See, now we've looked at how they are addictive and what they do to us. Now let's look at how not to throw your device away. We'll look at how to use your device in a very healthy way, and a very uplifting way. That you can use YouTube to watch all nonsense things, or you can use it to get a real education. You can use it to uplift your consciousness. You can use it to help yourself and help others. Or you can use it to chain yourself, to shackle yourself, to endless nonsense and to suffering. And then your smartphone will make you dumb. Right? So today we'll look at the tricks that society or media or corporations use to get us addicted to this device, and what we can do to unchain ourselves. One of the things you can do is bundle notifications. Right? When you get an email, this used to happen to me a lot. My email is connected to my phone, and whenever you get an email, then you open it immediately and read it, right? And what was happening is that it was just taking up all my day. Like if I got one email, then another one will come, then I have to reply to that, then suddenly 1 hour is gone, no? So what I do is I bundle notifications. So on the settings, I set my email to be refreshed every 4 hours. So only after 4 hours does my email come to me, right? And I also have a set time in the day where I'll look at the emails. Otherwise, what happens? It just consumes your day. And I do a similar thing with WhatsApp. Who has WhatsApp here? Okay. So what I do with WhatsApp is that I use WhatsApp to communicate with people. I teach many students. So we have like a group, a WhatsApp group. When my students send me messages, it has a different ringtone. Like I hear a bell. When the people that I live with, who are my superiors, that I report to basically, my teachers, when they send me a message, I get like an alarm sound comes. When my friends send me a message, I get like a honk, like a car honk, you know? So according to the different bells I hear, I know, okay, my teacher is sending me something, I have to reply now. The students are sending something, I have a set time in the day where I do that. My friends are sending me something, sometime later I'll deal with that, you know? So according to the urgency, then I go into the WhatsApp. Otherwise, what happens? You go there, and then suddenly 1 hour is gone, no? You go there, the sun is out, when you look again, the moon is out, no? This can happen, no? So you bundle notifications, right? You manage your time in a healthy way. Make sense? Do you think you can do this? Or try to do it? We'll look at 3 other things. We'll look at how to grayscale your phone. We'll look at how to restrict your home screen to just everyday tools. And beware the infinity loop. Right? So we looked at bundle notifications. Next, we're going to look at grayscaling your phone. Right? So, okay, before we get to grayscale your phone, if you get a message or if somebody phones you, what does that mean? Yes? Communication, right? Means another human being wants to communicate with you, right? And as human beings, we love social interaction, right? But what is happening is that these apps are doing a similar thing. That they're sending push notifications so that non-human notifications are getting us pulled into the application, right? So if somebody posts something on Facebook, if somebody puts up a picture, somebody makes a status update, you get a notification. Because as human beings, we're conditioned to love interaction. We love social interaction. So one way to not be addicted to this is to turn off all non-human interactions, right? So you turn off your push notifications on your apps, and that way, if somebody posts something on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, you don't get the notification. So it's one less thing that'll draw you to the attention of your apps. Making sense? Yes? Everybody knows what that is? What is that? It's a slot machine. Now, what has a similar design to a slot machine? See, this is how they trick us. Gambling machines is designed in such a way that you're attracted to the colors. The colors are bright, they're bold, they're attractive. Your eyes see them and immediately they pull towards them. Similarly, the applications that are designed by smart devices is the same as a gambling machine. So our eyes are naturally attracted to bright, bold colors, right? A similar way when you win money on the gambling machine, it lights up, it goes ding, 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 ding. And a similar thing is happening when you're getting notifications on your applications. You know? You're getting sounds, bells, whistles. They're designed in such a way that the lights light up and you're drawn to them, right? And so they're designed similar to a gambling machine. And one of the things about a gambling machine and these apps or receiving a message is the novelty of the message. Is that you're not sure what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. When you pull the lever on a gambling machine, you're not sure if you're going to win or lose. And a similar thing happens when you receive a message via WhatsApp or somebody's trying to call you. There's novelty of emotion. You're not sure how the call is going to make you feel. And it is this array of emotions that causes us again to be addicted to our phone. So I'll explain with a WhatsApp message, right? So if you read this WhatsApp message, so you see what's happening, right? Before he got the WhatsApp message, he was thinking, oh, will I get the news? Will I get the news? What's going to happen? Then he gets the WhatsApp message, right? And so first, when he first gets the WhatsApp message, how is his emotions? He's really happy, right? But then at the end, how does he feel? He feels terrible, no? He feels disgusted, he feels hurt. And so it's an emotional roller coaster, no? And we get addicted to this, no? Because when somebody sends you a message, it may be your girlfriend telling you she loves you, or it may be your girlfriend telling you you don't have a girlfriend anymore, no? So like that, we're not sure what it's going to do to us, no? And we get addicted to this array of emotions, this novelty, no? We like this. As social creatures, we depend on this, you know? So this is one of the way we get addicted to our phones. And so this is one reason why we can go into WhatsApp, or we can go into Facebook, or we can go into these other platforms where other people are there because we love interaction, no? And like this, we can get addicted like that, no? So it can be dangerous. And so like I said, the colors, right? The colors draw us to the screen, right? So, see, there's a psychological conditioning that we have towards certain colors. Like, Everybody knows what that is, right? Now, what is happening in terms of the color combination there? Look how they're all similar. What colors do you see predominantly? Red, orange, yellow, and white. Now why is that? They could have chosen any color, no? Why did they choose these colors? Because it's more attractive. You are drawn to it, no? And you want to know something else that's very interesting? These colors, on a subconscious, on a subliminal level, on an unconscious level, these three colors in combination unconsciously make you naturally hungry. So when you look at these colors, this is why, see, these people are geniuses, right? They know how your mind works, so they'll try to rape your mind. They'll try to beat you by using the way your mind functions. So they know that these colors naturally make you hungry. So all these large corporations, they'll use all these colors to their advantage, no? So when you look at these colors, what do you want to do when you see Zwiggy on YouTube? And it'll come also at lunchtime, or at dinner time, or at breakfast time, or at tea time, or brunch. But we're hungry all the time, so it can come at any time, no? And then you'll want to use the application, no? So a similar thing is happening on our phones. Which are you more attracted to? The screen on the right or the screen on the left? Why? Because of the attractive colors, no? So what you can do is grayscale your screen. If you go to your settings on your device, you grayscale it so when your eye looks at this, your brain is not thinking, oh, that one is red, that means it's more important. Oh, that app is so nice, I have to be drawn to it. Then there's no emergency when an email comes, no? You're not forced to go into it, no? You become less addicted to it. Make sense? Everybody understands? So we'll look at one last tool that you can do to not be addicted to your phone, right? That's somebody's home screen, right? Now, when you open your phone, how many icons do you have on your home screen? Generally, people have a whole lot of things there, right? So what you can do is simplify your screen. You make it just the bare minimum of things that you need, and also apps that don't get you addicted, no? So on my screen I have emails which I only look at a set time of the day. Once I open the home screen, I have a to-do list, I have a torch, and I have my alarm clock, no? Because it's difficult to get addicted to your torch, right? Unless you like turn it on and off like that, no? So you keep it to the bare minimum, just on your home screen. So it's one less thing to get addicted to, right? And so, coming to the end of our presentation is, one of the last slides I will look at for today is, it says, so thankful for Facebook, otherwise how would I call 563 people every morning to let them know what I just ate for breakfast? All right? Makes sense? All right? So these are what we call weapons of mass distraction, right? Because they distract us in our lives more than anything else, right? So, see, I'm not saying don't use Facebook, but you can post uplifting matter instead of just what you ate in the morning, you know? Like, I'll give you an example. Some of my friends do this, right? They'll wake up in the morning and every morning they'll post what they just cooked or what they're about to eat, right? They'll post their breakfast. And so hundreds, maybe thousands of people are seeing that, right? So I always thought this was strange. Because if you had to do this in reality, see, when they post that, then they get many followers, they get many likes, right? So you post what you just ate, many other people will follow you on Facebook, right? Now, if you had to do this in reality, means that, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Now, you had chapati for breakfast this morning, right? Now, if you had to, after you had chapati for breakfast, go out and start walking in public and just randomly shout to everybody, chapati, chapati for breakfast, chapati and aloo, dal and rice, chapati, I had chapati for breakfast, no? What would people think? that you are crazy, you know? That's insane to do that, right? But are we doing that on social media? We're doing that, right? And that's crazy. So you do that in social media and you get many followers, right? You do that in reality, you'll also get followers. Yes? You'll get followers. You'll get doctors wanting to follow you. You'll get psychologists wanting to follow you. You'll get police wanting to follow you. Because why? Because they'll think you're crazy, right? So now I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is use these platforms to uplift people, no? To spread love, to spread communication, no? You can send so many uplifting things as opposed to just what you ate this morning, right? Making sense? So don't use it to be a weapon of mass distraction. Don't use it to be distracted from what's going on in life. It should help to connect you to your family, connect you to your friends, connect you to spirituality, no? And connect you to yourself also. Don't use it as a form of escapism, that I'm going through some suffering, some trauma. Don't use it as a form to not deal with the sufferings that you're going through, you know? So all of us, we're not perfect, and that's perfectly okay. We're all dealing with so many things, with anxiety, with depression. Some people use the smartphones and become addicted to pornography. India is the third highest user of pornography in the world. And pornography is becoming the new drug, right? It's raping society. And so like that, we're using our smartphones to enjoy to death. So these phones are wonderful. I'm not saying don't use them. But what I'm saying is use them in a very healthy way. And I'd like to end today's class with this final point. What is genuinely worth your time? What is genuinely worth your time? Now this may seem like a simple question, but it's actually a very deep, esoteric, philosophical question. If you take a moment just to ponder on this, what is genuinely worth my time? It is a very existential question. An existential question asks fundamentally, who am I? Why do good things happen to bad people? Is there a God? What is the point of religion? What happens to me when I die? Am I the body? Am I soul? Questions like this that question your existence. This is genuinely worth your time. But if you get entrapped, ensnared, enchained by weapons of mass distraction, you don't have time to ask these genuine questions. Right? So this is my humble request to everybody today, is that in order to grow healthfully and holistically, don't not use your smartphone, but use it in a healthy and balanced way. So from time to time, look up. Look up from your smartphone. Yes? Look out. This world is such a beautiful place. It is a miracle, no? Every day a giant ball of gas brings light and energy into this world, no? Every day is a blessing. Look out into this world. Stop and smell the roses. When last have you stopped to smell a flower? You live in Goa. When last have you taken a walk on the beach? Swam in the ocean? This is a blessing and a miracle, no? Every breath you take is a miracle, yes? Because you don't know when you're going to take another step, no? You don't know when you're going to take another breath. The problem with us is we think we have time, but you don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You don't know where you're going to wake up tomorrow. And even the act of breathing is a blessing. It is a miracle, no? If you notice, how many studying bio here? How many studying biology? Science? Science, biology? You're studying biology? When you breathe, the breath, where does it go to? From your nose, it goes into your esophagus or trachea? Trachea. From the trachea, where does it go to? Lungs. From the lungs, it goes to the alveolus. From the alveolus, it goes to capillaries. Capillaries carry it to every single cell within the body. These cells are microscopic, no? But in these microscopic cells is cytoplasm, is mitochondria, is the complexity of a city, no? And so there's intelligent design within you. You're like a walking universe, no? And because there's intelligent design means there's an intelligent designer. So every day is a blessing, every day is a miracle, no? So look up, look out, smell the roses, no? And look within. How do you look within yourself? How do you look within? Introspection is Introspection is to question who I am. What makes me tick? What do I like? What do I not like? You know? And a very important aspect of introspection is meditation. You know? Meditation allows for you to go within yourself, you know? To help you understand these existential questions. So look up, look out, and look within. You know? Ask yourself these questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What is the purpose of life? Is the purpose of life just to make some money, pay your taxes, and die? Is the purpose of life just to look at YouTube and Instagram and Facebook? Or is there more to life? Is there a deeper meaning to life? So please do these things. Look up, look out, and look within. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending our session today. I'm very grateful to all of you all.